Hi, hello. So, as you can see, my VTuber form is here. Also, I'm trying a new editing style. I think you saw from the intro. I'm not gonna do this all the time. I just thought I'd try to mimic the way the artist's style that I'm imitating edits, if that makes any amount of sense. Like, okay, I don't know how to say the name, so I'm gonna butcher it. I'm gonna do, I think you can tell the artist. It's either Neytirix or Neytirix. I'm gonna be doing their art style. I really like this artist, and I've been a fan of them for almost as long as I can remember. I also did this, as you can see in the beginning, for an art project. So I'll show you. I made two versions, which is one for this video and then one for my art project, with some basic things edited. But yeah. I hope you guys like this video, and thank you for watching. If you do, watch all the way. Now let's get on with the drawing part of the video. Okay, so I don't have recording of me drawing the roughs and what I was planning on doing to Neytirixify myself, but I do have the sketches. So I'm just gonna show the 4 sketches I have. So the first is a rough. At first I was just gonna draw myself as basically Miwa, as genuine Miwa, no change. But then I realized change is fun, you know? Also, a lot of their art doesn't portray humans, or if they are human, there's something sort of mechanical, or I don't want to say edgy, but edgy, or not what I look like to you guys. So I thought, how do I change that? So at first I thought of going more in the more kind of creepy, edgy body horror direction. You can see with my sketch on the left, I tried to give myself robot arms, and I didn't like that. And then right in the above, I drew this little raccoon mask, and I was like, oh, I got an idea. So then I drew the raccoon mask on the body, and then everything, and then I knew exactly what I was going to do from there. Now let's head on to the next part. Okay, hi, hello. Okay, so this is the sketch. So basically for the sketch, I did what I usually did. I had a whole bunch of references because I wanted to make sure I got this accurate. This was the easiest part, but also it was kind of difficult making the decisions. And it was also difficult figuring out, I wanted to do a sort of a cyberpunk cityscape. I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do with that completely. And you'll see me have to fuck around with the background later, but oh god, it was not fun. But right now, all I'm doing is I am doing the sketching and the plan. So my lighting plan is usually I add a light source and before I start doing the line art and the colors, so I know what my plan is. Also, you'll see in this, I have to turn in progress checks and rough sketches for my art class, so that is what I'm doing. I'm basically pretending to make rough sketches. And yeah, now you'll see that I'm I hit the table. Now that you'll see I'm doing the more lighting plan, what's gonna glow, what's gonna be in shadow. It's really useful, especially because I knew this was gonna be really complex because of the nature of the artist I am trying to mimic. So doing this was very, very helpful. I'll talk more about the planning in the next part. Okay, so just a tidbit kind of about the plan, because I don't have much to say. I didn't end up really 100% going by the plan, but I also did. I ended up changing the background quite a bit in the end. So, yeah. Plans are important, but don't follow the plan like you'll die if you don't. Okay, now onto the line art. Okay, so for the line art, I looked at all my references. I had references on my phone too. I had like 20 references on how they do Neytirix does line art. Someone please tell me how to say that in the comments, because I feel so like awkward not knowing how to say this person's name. But I looked at what they did and how they how they did their variation in their line art. I wasn't too sure how to get it to look like the way they made it look, like the texture, but not texture. Oops, I hit the table. In the art program I was using, which is I used Procreate for this because I was taking this. It was an art project for school. I said this, so I was taking my iPad to and from school and working on it. So I probably would have, in hindsight, rather have used Clip Studio, but we live and we learn. I also, for the line art, I did a thing that a lot of artists do, where basically you duplicate the line art and then you put a little bit of a Gaussian blur on it, and then you lower the opacity of the blur to make the line art look nicer. I did that to try to see if I could get the effect of Neytirix's line art a little bit more. I kind of did, but it kind of didn't work. I will say the line art looks really cool as usually I don't have very much variation in my line art, so to have this much variation, it was a experience and it was really cool. Okay, now on to the second to the last part. Woo! Okay, so this part encapsulates the rendering, the shading, and the coloring. So for the coloring, I realized, first let me talk about the base colors. So I wanted it to be similar to my, me, but I also wanted it to be slightly different, so I made the shirt a little lighter, and you can see the shorts are ripped, and I made them more like a gradient. Also with my hair, I changed it a lot from it being darker to lighter to what I have now. And then for the arms, I've seen the way they draw robotic arms, and so I basically tried my hardest to mimic that, and I also tried to make it a bright, striking purple so you would see it the most, and to incorporate the end of my username, which is 37s. I put 37s as a tattoo under my collarbone, and on the side of my arms, it's painted onto the robot arms. As for the shading and rendering, I had no clue what I was doing. I did what I did, and I looked at all the pictures that they have made, and I looked at them, and I was like, okay, I think I can do this, but I kind of had my brain on autopilot, and I wasn't sure what I was doing while I was doing it, if that makes any amount of sense. The most I knew is that that I can recall is that they have very strong highlights in their style, and I tried to mimic that to the best of my ability, and the fact that their art style is really complex. Now that is, I've talked about that. Confusing but not confusing. Hard but not hard. Now, it's time to get to the hard part. The next part, which is about the background. Okay. So for the background, I did the line art because I looked, and it seems like they do the line art and then they kind of paint over it. So I did do the line art for everything first, and I did paint over it a little bit, which the line art was kind of a pain for this because I ended up not liking it, and then I ended up not liking what layers I put it on. I had to cut it up and put it on different layers, and it was not ideal, but it happens. I also will say, if you look hard enough on the signs on the billboards on the building, you will see a me advertisement. That's really hard to see, but basically, I changed the color scheme a whole lot throughout this whole thing, and the color of the windows, color of the background, what's in the background, like in the far back. I changed it to buildings, to like floating lights. It went from one big light to floating lights to buildings, and then the little bridge on the top, I copy and pasted it and moved it everywhere because I realized it looked weird if there was only one. And then I changed it to faraway buildings, and it was so difficult. Like, this was, I don't even know how to explain it other than I know it doesn't look like their style of background, but I tried so hard to copy it that I'm kind of disappointed I couldn't copy it really good, but I'm also proud of myself because this is probably one of the nicer backgrounds I've drawn in a really long time. Okay, well, other than the struggle, I did have a bit of a perspective error, but I never fixed it, so it's just still there, and it's kind of hard to see. It's the two buildings in the far background. One is like perspective one way and the other is kind of off, but you can't really tell with the bridge, so it's no big deal. Also, here are both versions now that we're at the very end, and I do want to say this before I close off the video. If you watched this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you watching this far. I tried something new. I want to try this with some other YouTubers that I watch. Maybe. I honestly don't know yet, but this was really fun to do. It was really challenging, and I'm really happy I got to try this out. Thank you for watching. If you did, if you liked this video, subscribe. If you already are subscribed, you should like this video, and you should share it. I worked really hard, so please, I would like recognition. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.